Hi guys, today is going to be a bit more of a PSA for those of you that are excited for ML Headhunt. This is the new system that we have for the current year. A couple of characters that you can pull if you're not familiar with the character. Essentially what you do is you complete your dailies, you complete your weeklies, you gain access to the reroll function of this or unlocking one of the circles. Once you unlock a circle, you can claim this. The system essentially gives you a free ML 5-star. However, the point of this video is to raise awareness to a really unnecessary and outright just awful feature, and I would almost just consider it a bug at this point, like an unintended feature, which is if you decide to claim your weekly reputation, or if you decide to just not opt into the ML Headhunt, it just doesn't enroll you. And now, obviously, that sounds very obvious, like why don't you just enroll to the Headhunt? Well, you have to actually press the button, and it's not like something big on your screen and it says before you can gain points or reputation, you must like join the program. It basically just says click this if you want to enroll into the program. Now, to be clear, I understand that for 99.99% of you guys, you will eventually enroll into this. However, for those of you that are trying to make sure that you're on track and get your Moonlight 5-star as soon as possible, a very annoying bug, it's not really a bug, but an inconvenience that could happen is that if you decide to complete your weeklies before the headhunt begins, so i.e. if you decide to clear the weeklies on the 22nd, the 21st, etc., it doesn't get counted towards this. And as you can see here, acquire weekly reputation gives you 2,800 points, which is a bulk of the earned resource that you could get. This resource is used to unlock the circles as mentioned here. Each of these circles, if I recall, costs about 400 to 800. I don't remember what the exact number is. However, the main point is that doing the dailies is not really enough to clear this headhunt circle grid very quickly, so what you're primarily focusing on is the weekly reputation in order to clear. Now, as a brief overview of the ML Headhunt, it is of course great. Everyone loves it. Smilegate has done a great job by introducing this to us because, in all honesty, one additional Moonlight 5-star or two additional Moonlight 5-stars a year that we get from a selector or something like that is not going to crumple their economy or their earnings. So of course this is really nice for free-to-play players, and just in general for people that have always been wanting that Moonlight 5-star but they couldn't afford it in the past, or they couldn't get it in the past, they got really unlucky with Mystic Medals. Well, now's your opportunity to either get a free ML 5-star or the 5-star that just got away. Side note, this little point shop that you gain from unlocking certain levels and then being able to unlock and purchase is also really nice. However, we are going to be talking about the things that I would change to the Moonlight Headhunt shop, and this part is definitely really important. So that's going to be at the end of the video. However, before I talk about what I would actually like to change from this, we have to talk about what's actually bad or wrong with the Moonlight Headhunt. So first and foremost, if you couldn't tell based off the quality of life or the PSA that I had initially made this video for, there are terrible quality of life or just general functionality features that come with this event. Yes, you're getting a free Moonlight 5-star, but they could almost not have created a more annoying way to claim the Moonlight 5-star. Now, I understand where they're coming from in some regard, like wanting this thing to be daily so people have to log on, complete their daily reputation. But as I mentioned in the public service announcement, you have to wait until the 23rd, which again, is not even like a Sunday or like a Monday morning where people would maybe be able to complete the content quickly. Now, I understand Smilegate wanting to make this sort of event where, yes, you do get a Moonlight 5-star, but you have to play the game. But even in terms of when it's being released, if you're going to punish players for completing their weekly early, at least make the release of this event on like a Sunday or a Monday so that they have the beginning of the week, waiting until the middle of the week to complete their weekly reputation. It just doesn't make sense. Why do I have to wait until Wednesday to complete my weekly reputation when, in all honesty, especially with this, there's just two very simple and clean answers to this problem. Now, before we get into what I would like to see as the change, or maybe my thoughts just on everything in general, I would like to preface all this by saying the optimist in me believes that they just thought the mana reputation zones were enough of a change, and maybe they just didn't realize that we wanted all of these changes. On the other hand, maybe they were really tied with Awakening, and this was just a really nice system that they could re-implement, and they did give us the mana conversion zones, which is technically a change, but is also kind of indicative that they could have made changes to the Moonlight Headhunt, but they didn't. Then again, the Moonlight Headhunt hasn't been released yet, so maybe there'll be changes once it gets released. Now then, we're on to the part that I really want to discuss about this whole event, and I guess the true purpose of this video, which is the changes that really need to come to the Headhunt at some point, hopefully by the next one, or maybe during this current one. That's probably unlikely though. The first change that I haven't mentioned anywhere else in either the pros and cons is that at the very end of the recruitment process, Despite it costing about like 700, 800, whatever the cost is in order to reveal an orb and have access to other characters, even if you end up discovering every single character, you will end up with a several thousand fee in order to actually recruit the character, which is obviously stupid, because why do I need to do that? Why do I have to wait an additional potential week or like maybe additional days in order to gain access to this? Why do I have to wait extra days or maybe even a week in order to get access to a character that I claimed, even though I already see the character on screen and I want to claim the character right now? That just feels bad to the average player. So to be honest, I don't know what a proper change or improvement to this would be without just removing it, because in all honesty, I don't understand why they decided to make this 3,000 thing even exist. If anything, it's just pointless. It's a needless gatekeep to the character that I want. Overall, I think this is just a filler for time, just in case if you end up getting the character you want on like initial release. And so then unfortunately or fortunately, you're probably not going to be able to get the character instantly, no matter how lucky you are. Smilegate, just remove this. It's not that big a deal. People are probably going to be rolling for a while anyways. The second change that I think must happen as soon as possible, hopefully in this upcoming headhunt if possible, is that people should just be automatically enrolled. They should make it super difficult, if not arguably impossible, to see the fact that you need to or you should be enrolling in the activity as soon as possible. I don't care if it's like several pop-ups or something random. There's no reason for people to claim a week or be behind a week just because they weren't aware that they didn't activate the activity. For other web events, it takes no effort at all in order to show that you are enrolled or gain participation for it. I don't understand why this is the case for the Moonlight Headhunt. Again, I'm more of an optimist, but it could be very easily insinuated that Smilegate is trying to make this feature a little more hidden or harder to see just so you play the game more. Now, obviously, I don't really hold that much value into that theory. However, the alternative theory to that is that Smilegate is just incompetent and they don't want to add this feature, or I don't know what it is. Either way, it's not a good look, and regardless of what theory or how you feel about this change, it needs to happen. There's no reason, I can't think of like a single reason as to why you would want to prolong your headhunt. It's just very odd. Piggybacking onto that very last point, which is maybe people want to prolong and they want to see what characters they get, you could just make the activity go longer then, or just have it as like an ML 5-star ticket that you can redeem at a later date. Anything like that. Just not this, because this is just making people mad and frustrated, myself included, because the last time I did this, I was one of the people that missed the first week activation. I know I'm not the only one. Come on, Smilegate. Now, I mentioned it earlier, but this point shop thing, though very interesting and great, like you get new access to, you know, chests or Molagoras or the revision stones or the mana stones that we get that reverts gear. All of the potential loot and additional goodies that come from the headhunt are pretty cool. But the issue that I kind of have here is the fact that number one, they're locked behind levels, as you can see. And number two, the cost for these is not very cheap. Now with other web events or calendar events or something, you have to do an activity or you have to log in for a certain number of days and then they give you a reward. But for whatever reason, this event is completely different compared to every other event, where not only do you have to hit a certain level in order to unlock the shop, which is like a super form or a super annoying form of being locked by like a second week activity or set of rewards in traditional side stories. You also have to pay an insane price, relatively speaking, to pay out or in order to clear out these shops. Now, to be clear, if they don't decide to change this, I understand. However, in terms of ease, having your player base press a couple more times into the web event is kind of random. It doesn't really add much more time that you spend. If anything, it's a bit more frustrating. And again, since it's not just an exchange shop like traditional side stories, it's a time-locked, currency-locked, limited event shop. It makes no sense. It's kind of frustrating. In terms of ease and having access to this, it's not easy at all to find, or it's not that convenient, or it's not that memorable, or sometimes you can forget. Which again, even if you were to say that we're whining a little bit, which again, I understand and I fully accept responsibility for that. In terms of value, neither Smilegate nor the players are gaining enjoyment or much out of us now having to click. Neither Smilegate nor players are really gaining anything out of having to click this extra purchase button or this exchange button. Smilegate is getting, I guess, an extra laggy feature where people have to sit through and press for an additional 10 seconds. I don't know if that's something that they track or if that looks good for, I guess, you know, the playability or the runtime of the game. At this point, I don't even know what I'm saying. Like, I'm just trying to come up with any theory as to why these changes are already. At this point, I'm just trying to figure out why Smilegate has such insanely bad quality of life for something that is arguably the best feature that Smilegate has released in recent years. And in addition to what I said before, I guess there are technically 3 conclusions that you can draw from this. Either Smilegate is incompetent, which I hope that's not the case. They obviously brought back like this event and they have good ideas in general. I don't think that to be the case. Smilegate is being kind of deceptive or a bit deceitful, and they kind of want to be in a position where they don't want people to be as aware about the event so that they might miss a week or they miss out on a certain thing and they need to start playing more and spend more energy in order to get reputation and buy out the shop. This is also very unlikely, but again, there's only one other solution or reason as to why I could see why these changes haven't come back after 2, maybe even, I think maybe 3 headhunts. I'm not sure if one or second. I can't even recall if we're on our 2nd or 3rd, but in general, if by this point they haven't figured out why all these changes are in, the only other thing that I can think of is that they were so truly busy with, haha, zing word, most hot topic of all time, controversial topic, the Awakening update. That's my only other thought process as to why maybe they didn't optimize or enact the changes from this. They could have just been super busy with the Awakening update and everything that they're adding, maybe the Litica and the side story changes, who knows? Or maybe once it drops on Wednesday or whenever this drops, I think 11/23, whenever that is, maybe all of our answers are revealed or all of our prayers are answered. That being said though, I don't think that's going to be the case. It's probably going to be the same system, and that just simply begs the question. Now, I apologize again, this has been a bit of a rant. Now, in terms of what to do with the shop, very plain and simple. As you can see here, there's level 1, 2, 3, and 4. As soon as you unlock that on the grid, just give these rewards to players, because what more do you really gain from pressing the exchange button? You can't even choose which reward you get first. It is literally locked progressively, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So in terms of whether or not you would want to pick one earlier or having the illusion of choice, that doesn't even make sense either. So just make the shop better, Smilegate. Now, my appealing to lazy players or irresponsible players aside, I get it, you maybe don't want to reward these kind of players as opposed to players that do want to play. However, I feel like Smilegate can learn a lot, especially from the community feedback or from their past events or the dozens of videos that I'm sure have been made on this topic. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Make sure to like, comment, turn the notification bell, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the ML Headhunt, who you're gonna pick. I already have a tier list, and I'll link somewhere in this video at some point, maybe in the description. But as always, guys, make sure to check out the rest of my socials. I hope you learned something from this video. Maybe Smilegate will do something, I don't know. Anyways, adios.